Hey Nomads, what's up? Thank you for checking out this Listen and React, where today I'm listening to Ride by 21 Pilots. Now, 21 Pilots are a really cool band. They were kind of out of my level of awareness because I'm not always super on top of new music, and this was like 10 years ago. But I kept hearing them, and every time I would hear a new song, I'd be like, whoa, what is that? And it was almost always these guys. It seemed like they just had a string of hits. And so, yeah, this is a fun one. I'm going to give it a listen and share with you a little bit about kind of what I'm hearing from a musician's perspective. So I hope that might be some interesting insight for you. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? But first, let's roll the theme song here. A band with just one dude, no reason to fret. I'll play with myself, it's Nate's one-man duet. Yeah. All right, thanks so much for sitting through that, or hitting the fast forward button. If that's what you did, that's cool too. So yeah, let's give it a listen, huh? All right, so right off the bat, drums, piano, a bit of a reggae feel, right? They're kind of hitting the chords on the what's called like the upbeat, and a nice groove with the drums. Like already when I hear this stuff, I really like this music. This music kind of speaks to me. I really enjoy that. So, like already, I'm with these guys already, and we're 7 seconds into the song, and I'm here. I'm along for the ride, if you will. See what I did there? Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's go. So they are really brilliant users of strange sounds. Like I would be hard pressed to even tell you what that instrument is probably created on a keyboard or a computer program. You know, nowadays most of that stuff's computer generated. But it had an interesting slide into notes, which would almost indicate more of an organic instrument. You know, with like a fretless instrument would typically allow for that kind of sliding of notes. You know, it's a continuous note. So I don't know what it is, but again, I really like interesting sonic scapes when bands use kind of these unique sounds, especially when paired with, as we talked about, started with a very traditional drum and keyboard. So yeah, again, I'm already sold on this song. I like it.
I just want to stay in the sun where I find I know it's all.
So after that little intro, drums, piano, then that weird sonic, then it stops and that bass, and it had a little bit of like a fuzz effect on that, but then it cuts down. Maybe the drum was still going. I'll keep an ear out for that, and that's when the vocal comes. So it's this interesting kind of shift from different instrumentation, and then really allowing the vocal to kind of punch through, and then having the bass play to kind of give it that bottom end. Really cool transition.
Sometimes pieces of
no drum
in the sun's peace of mind. I know it's hard sometimes.
And real low in the mix, there's still that upbeat. It sounds like probably like an orchestral pad on a keyboard hitting that dip, 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 dip. It's real low in the mix. If you're listening over your device speaker, you're probably not going to hear it, but throw on some headphones and you'll hear way down in that mix. You got the bass going do, do, do. And then it's just like a little kind of chirp almost in the background. It's cool.
Yeah, I think about the end just way too much, but it's fun to fantasize.
There's that weird instrument. So now they go to the organ. And I also really like in music and bands when they do that like echo, fantasize. Again, they did that in the transition from the verse to, this might be either the chorus or the pre-chorus, but I always like that effect.
I'm taking my time on my ride. Oh, I'm balling, so I'm taking my time on my ride.
And so that, where the beat drops, if you will, is kind of the first time where everything comes together, right? Everything is now being played. The drums, the bass, the keyboard, or the organ that they have. And then it just kind of, it brings that part to that next level.
Taking my time on my ride. I die for you, that's easy to say. We have a list of people that we would take. A bullet for them, a bullet for you, a bullet for everybody in this room.
Yeah, so as he starts getting into this kind of like almost rap style, it started with just the organ doing that upbeat doop, doop. And then it comes in with the bass and the drums while that organ continues to do that little upbeat style. So this more complex arrangement now in the verse kind of complements the more rapid, again, almost like a rap style lyric stuff that he's doing. So really interesting complementary instrumentation there.
Don't seem to see many bullets coming through. See many bullets coming through. Metaphorically, I'm the man, but literally, I don't know what I do. I live for you, and that's hard to do. Even harder to say when you know it's not true. Even harder to write when you know that tonight there were people back.
Yeah, so rhythmically, there's some really complex things. He's really varying up, going from like triplet-oriented pacing to like 16th note, almost da 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 da. That's more that kind of triplet. But then it's also interesting that the bass and drums are kind of hitting a dun 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 at different times, and so they're doing some different things. Some really complex interplay between all of this. I think most of the time when I would listen to this, I'd think, these are just kind of silly little songs that are super catchy. But yeah, there's really a complexity at play here that I had never appreciated before.
Talking to you, but then you ignore them still. All these questions, they're falling. Like, who would you live for? Who would you die for? And would you ever kill? I'm falling, so I'm taking my time on my ride.
So it's interesting. Every time they're doing things that are subtly different. So that again had that organ on the upbeat and kick, but then it also had this drum that had a very heavy effect on it that was just kind of hitting, maybe it was the downbeat. Again, in an arrangement that they haven't done up to this point. So really throwing a lot of varied instrumentation patterns at you to kind of keep your ear interested and engaged.
I'm falling, so I'm taking my time on my ride. Taking my time on my ride. I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much.
Here, there's that drum with that heavy effect. Just on the downbeat.
I've been thinking too much. Help me. I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much.
I really love that. They introduced that. I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much. Help me. And then they break off into a nice harmony. And, again, it's that kind of introduce. What I would, maybe that is the, I've been thinking too much. It would be considered the root, but it's sung in a register that would typically be more reserved for the harmony. So again, some really fascinating choices that they're making. I really like it.
I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much. I'm falling, so I'm taking my time.
Yet another arrangement. Do 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 do. Again, in a way that we haven't heard before. This song only has verse, pre-chorus, chorus, maybe in terms of structure, but they're making it sound way more complex by varying the rhythm and syncopation and different instrumentation that they're using. really to brilliant effect. It's really very cool. So that was fascinating. Like, you could definitely tell that it was building up to a crescendo. And typically, when you're doing that, the instrumentation will continue to build. But what they did was, vocally, as that intensity rose, the instrumentation did, and then it stopped. And then the vocal kind of took it from there. Again, kind of subverting your expectations of what your ear kind of expects to hear. And then it's really exciting when it does that, right? Because it's still building. It's going in the direction that you expected to, but it gets there in a way that is kind of surprising. Brilliance. So this is kind of like I don't mean this in a negative way, but the plateau of, right? So it kind of built up to this, and you saw me anticipate that maybe it was going to drop back down, but no, it's just kind of keeping, it's letting that intensity ride. How many times can I make that stupid ass joke? Apparently one more time, maybe. So yeah, it's kind of letting that ride and stay up at that level. And I anticipate that there's going to be a strong drop off. And I think there's like an outro where it kind of comes back down. But let's listen and see. There it is, yeah.
I've been thinking too much. Help me. I've been thinking too much.
Remember when I said earlier that I've been thinking too much? And now he's doing it where I would kind of expect the root part to be, I've been thinking too much, help me. I've been thinking too much. And again, with just that nice piano part. And as I kind of predicted and kind of knew, because I've heard this song a bunch of times, but it kind of comes from that and then drops off real suddenly, which was used to good effect. Help me. Oh, it's starting to climb up again. Help me. Help me. Well, that was kind of an interesting chord choice there at the end. Again, subverting expectations, right? I'd have to look at the chords, and maybe that was the root chord that it resolved to, but for some reason it kind of hit my ear in a different way, that it wasn't the resolution that I was expecting. But yeah, really cool. You know, they kind of again, they drop it down and then it coasts along and then builds up a little intensity and then right into that last chord. So love this song. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate. A couple things you can do to help out my channel if you are so inclined. Watching these videos is always helpful, but you could also like, comment, share, subscribe, check out my different social media sites, and you could throw me a tip over on Venmo at OneManDuet if you are so inclined. I would greatly appreciate any of those things that you do. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. These videos come out on a Monday. At least I think they do. Who knows when you're watching it? So whatever day it is, whatever month it is, whatever year it is, I hope you have a good one. All right. You guys take care.